This is a very weirdly specific video topic, and the reason I'm creating this video is because Tarkov and Squad, for me, complement each other perfectly. When I'm sick of the bullshit in Squad, I go play Tarkov, and when I'm sick of the bullshit in Tarkov, I go play Squad, because both of these games are attempting to accomplish a similar thing, even if they're doing it in very different ways, and that thing that they're trying to accomplish is exactly what I'm after in gaming in general. Immersive, realistic, meaningful combat. Now, when it comes to realism and immersion, both games I would consider to be on equal footing, just in very different ways. Both of them have their pros and cons, and I wouldn't consider one to be very far ahead of the other. And ultimately, I feel like you could watch other reviews or gameplay footage and get a feel for how the games compare in that department on your own. I'm not really too interested in dissecting that. What I want to talk about is the wildly different ways that I get to feel like my firefights are consequential or meaningful in both games. To start, obviously most of the people who are subscribed to my channel are Squad players, and obviously most of you have watched my videos and you know a lot of the complaints that I have with Squad's meta, and how firefights can be entirely inconsequential and death can be used more as a tool than a setback. Sometimes I really hate the fact that in Squad, my gameplay loop is just driving around in a logi and setting spawns at the right place at the right time to attempt to push the most number of mindless players into the right position that I can, so that in the end of the day they accomplish things like proxies or captures, rather than actually trying to get said people to fight better than other people in firefights. A lot of what you do as a pub SL in Squad has absolutely nothing to do with combat and more to do with map control and memorizing and abusing very specific gameplay mechanics. And eventually when I get fed up with this, I go play Tarkov, because in Tarkov, death is final. Death means you lose. All the stuff that you brought in, that now belongs to the person who killed you. In the end of the day, staying alive is the baseline expectation, and then getting kills on top of that is something that you can work towards accomplishing. Your goals are also much more relaxed in a lot of cases. For example, if you have a quest to do in Tarkov, that usually just means you need to get to a specific area and pick up a specific item and then extract alive. There's not the same constant pressure that you always need to be dive bombing cap range or dive bombing that enemy hab or getting that C4 down or landing that rocket. You can take things at your own pace. And if you die, that is the worst possible outcome. It's not something that can oftentimes be preferable because it's going to then allow you to push those objectives more aggressively in a more important area. The insane pace of Squad gameplay throws so much content out the window. I will never consider doing bounding Overwatch with my squad, and that's just the result of the fact that taking twice as long to get to the area you need to be at is unacceptable, regardless of the benefits provided by the potential of actually using some real-world tactics and attempting to keep more people alive. In Tarkov, I would absolutely consider it. I would have to weigh the benefits with the cons. There are certain aspects of it in Tarkov gameplay that could potentially be bad. For example, bounding Overwatch relies a lot on the principle of suppressive fire, which in general in video games is going to be shaky at best because of fear of death and the lack thereof. And you're also going to run into other problems such as standing still, which in Tarkov there's no inertia, there's no momentum, and constant AD spam can keep you alive a lot of the time. Anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the point is I can look at this in Tarkov and analyze the benefits versus the drawbacks and consider whether it would be something I want to implement into my playstyle, whereas in Squad, I can just immediately toss it out the window under the basis of too slow and never revisit it and never feel like I'm missing out. Take a look at this clip as an example of this. I am currently sniping from around 350 to 550 meters away depending on the shots that I'm taking at my current location, and I'm using a semi-automatic 338. In Squad, this is laughable. This accomplishes absolutely nothing. This does not help with objective play in any way whatsoever. But in a game that focuses more on staying alive and actually winning firefights, in a game where death is final and the people that I kill aren't coming back and are just transforming themselves into piles of loot that I can then later go to, this is a perfectly valid tactic for actually doing well in PvP. This isn't just something that opens up more playstyles and more approaches to PvP. It also is way more satisfying to know that the person you killed is out of the fight. They're not going to be respawning on a hab 40 seconds later to come sprinting at you again. They're not going to have their head patched back together by a medic and re-peek you 17 times because there's no insta-death. They're just out of the fight. You have won because you have outpositioned and or out-aimed them. But it is not all rainbows and sunshine and butterflies in Tarkov. There are serious issues with the PvP in that game. When it comes to the actual outpositioning or out-aiming of people, as I just said, there are problems. There's incredibly heavy desync in this game, especially earlier on in raids, and ultimately it is known and abused by the community to no end. Peeker's advantage is a really big thing. If you are sitting and holding a corner, you are stationary on both your client and the server. If somebody is around that corner and then they try to peek you, they are going to go around the corner and get eyes on where you are before the server has updated you to let you know that they are around the corner, and they are already going to be putting shots into you before you even see them if the desync is bad enough, which it often is with Tarkov servers. So rather than rewarding preparedness, it rewards aggressiveness. Similarly, the movement is just insane in this game. You can crab walk side to side at the speed of light. It almost feels like Call of Duty. Especially when you factor in other things, like the complete lack of inertia, meaning you can just jiggle from side to side like crazy, and the fact that you actually do have a level-based skill system, just like an MMO, that allows you to achieve max level strength and stuff, which can essentially let you bunny hop around the map like a Terminator. This means that for every amazing positioning-based, slow-paced firefight that you have that feels incredibly immersive and realistic and awesome, you're also going to run into a Terminator bunny hopping around wearing level 6 armor that doesn't affect his movement at all whatsoever, who is constantly spamming AD, AD, AD and jittering like he's a bunny on cocaine that you're never going to be able to light a headshot up on, who is ultimately just going to run around the map knowing he can never stand still and either completely avoid you as a result, or the moment you start taking shots at him, have a significant chance of being able to dive into cover, click on his Salua, which is immediately going to heal his thorax back to full capacity so the 2 shots you landed on his chest didn't matter, and then is going to attempt to jiggle peek you from behind cover so that he can go faster than your reaction speed, get a bearing on you, and then try to Peeker's advantage pre-fire you and kill you. That happens. If you need examples, just go watch any popular Tarkov streamer. You would think that a game like Tarkov with a million dark corners, a million scary bushes, and slow-paced, survival-based gameplay would strongly reward patience, but when you go watch any streamer, they all play like they're on cocaine, and they all get away with it because of the Call of Duty-esque movement. And so, when situations like that happen, I go back to squad, because when it comes to squad's combat, the movement is so much nicer. If I see somebody running perpendicular to me 50 meters away and I have an assault rifle, I don't even think, I just shoot them, I just kill them. In Tarkov, that's actually a uniquely challenging experience because you have to land 3 to 4 shots on a thorax normally if they're wearing decent armor and you're using an intermediate round like A55A1. The armor is going to either absorb a little bit of damage and make it into a 3-shot, or potentially even block a round or 2 and make it into a 3, 4, 5-shot. This is a decent clip to demonstrate what I'm talking about. I'm not using the best ammo here, and that's part of this build. I like to run a big drum full of cheap ammo, but they also do not have the best armor here, and so ultimately you can see perfect examples of both how quick the strafing back and forth is and how difficult it is for me to keep up with my aim, and the fact that if I was at a range where I had to use semi-automatic there and I was watching them move from left to right at that kind of speed, I would not feel comfortable landing the number of shots I needed to their thorax in order to take them down before they were able to simply dive into cover, heal, and negate the advantage that I just got by shooting them in the first place, and then have Peeker's advantage because they have cover that they can jiggle peek me from. Tarkov offers a lot more in the way of opportunity for second chances for people who get caught with bad positioning, and because there's no suppression and headshots are very highly rewarded and higher level players are going to be able to fund better gear sets, it's more likely that people with more experience are going to be able to rely more on aim than positioning. In squad, that is really not the case. You catch somebody with their pants down running through a field, they're dead. They're not going to snap to you and kill you in the same way that a lot of experienced Tarkov players will do to semi-experienced Tarkov players. Plus, Tarkov does have a very big problem with hackers. Now, the skill ceiling for Tarkov is incredibly high. The most skilled people are very, very good at the game, and then it's the kind of game that allows you to constantly get shot from the middle of nowhere with no idea how it possibly could have happened. There's a ton of audio cues and things that will give you away without you realizing they're giving you away. And so naturally everybody loves to scream hacker every time they're outplayed, but there actually are a lot of readily available cheats out there for Tarkov and a lot of people who use them. And so when I've been playing Tarkov and I have a few bad experiences and I'm getting sick of the desync, sick of the movement, sick of the bullet sponginess, sick of the lack of consequences for wearing armor that'll stop every round of the game unless you're paying 200k for a magazine, and I ultimately decide that I'm fed up with it, I go back to squad, specifically looking for some slower pace gunplay and slower pace positioning based gameplay, only to quickly feel like I'm being useless to my team when I actually try to hold those angles and take advantage of the fact that positioning in squad is so powerful. I get into this interesting loop where I go play one game that has good slow-paced gunplay with game mechanics that don't reward it at all whatsoever, and then I get sick of that, and then I go play another game that has gameplay mechanics that completely reward slow and amazing positioning gameplay, but then the actual gunplay that doesn't back it. And this is really the endless cycle for me between the two games. There's a couple other factors that I could touch up on, but they're pretty specific to me personally. For example, I love playing Tarkov because of the lack of responsibility. I could just go out for a solo raid if I want, or I could bring a total meme loadout and just fuck around and nobody's actually being hurt because of it. In squad, that is a direct detriment to the team, and I usually feel responsible to play to the best of my ability because other people are depending on me for their enjoyment. But then when you play Tarkov for too long, eventually you run out of quests and you just go into a strictly PvP mode, and then nothing really feels like it matters as much because there isn't this amazing thing that you get with games like Project Reality or Squad, where there's an entire team of randoms working together to accomplish a goal. It really just adds an immense amount of weight to your every action, and it makes it a much more rewarding experience a lot of the time. And in Tarkov, you're definitely paying for not having to deal with teammates and not having to deal with responsibility by, in turn, not necessarily getting the same payoff mentally that you're getting when you do really well in a game of Squad, especially after you've kind of, quote, completed the game, unquote, like I sort of did when I got Kappa recently. But don't let this video discourage you from buying Tarkov if you haven't already. It's a very, very difficult game to get into, but it really does fit that need that I have for meaningful microgame in a realistic and modern shooter. The raids-based format isn't my favorite thing at all. I prefer strictly survival-based games like DayZ, or I don't know, almost anything else, but ultimately I've gotten used to it and I've grown to like the genre more, even if I'm not big into any kind of looter shooter. I personally do not have the patience to actually go around and loot shit in Tarkov. I play it primarily for the PvP. And one thing that I really do think is worth mentioning is that the lead dev of Tarkov, Nikita, has routinely expressed that he is going to make the game that he wants, and it's going to be challenging and it's going to be difficult, and if people don't like it, that's fine. That is something that the devs for Squad have never really had the balls to say. There is a constant fight in Squad between selling copies and providing hardcore gameplay, and every change that we make in the direction of a more hardcore experience for Squad has to be fought for. And there have been movement changes announced for Tarkov. They're going to be adding player inertia, and they're going to be tweaking movement, and hopefully their vision aligns with mine, and hopefully all of the inevitable pushback from the community that has learned to play it like COD isn't really enough to get them to revert. Hopefully they stick to their guns. I think that's a more likely thing to happen in Tarkov, the update being disliked by the community but enforced because it's the dev's vision, than it is in a game like Squad. So hopefully we'll see improvements to Tarkov that will make it a more viable alternative. And definitely do your private independent research, because these are not at all the same style of game. If you haven't heard of Tarkov before and this is your first introduction to it, which I find kind of hard to believe with how popular it is right now, but if that is the case, definitely look into how the game actually plays out, because it is incredibly different from Squad. With that said, I just want to leave you with a quick clip of a recent firefight we had with some pretty decent communication that really just showcases how the micro level plays are handled in this game, how that is everything, and how well you work together and coordinate in a firefight completely determines how well you're going to be doing. There's a guy in courtyard with an SKS. It could theoretically be a scav, but I kind of doubt it. To give you context, my teammate just called out that he has audio on somebody, and he's to the left of the wall outside of this window that I'm peeking. I just hit SVD.
Oh. Yep, I heard him. I think he looped all the way back around. Where was he at?
He's going back to the bunker.
Okay, because I heard him moan on my left. So where was he at?
Fuck your scaff. He's okay. You're looking at him, but he's running away from you. He was on the wall to the left of you. I shot him. Now he's running away from you.
Okay.
He's dead.
Nice.
SVD?
Should be.
Yes.
It was the guy who was looking at you. Same guy I just shot. So.
All right. Where's he at? Where's his body? Like all the way by the bunker entrance? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him.
Ooh.
SVD.
Strong.
SVD.
That was far down.
At you?
That was the right. Yeah, that was right to the hole. On the right of the hole. Woo! Shit! Someone's in the middle building where you got fucking sniped at the other day.
Hold your angle. I'll hold his flank.
I'm kind of fucked.
Let him push you. Let him push you. Don't peek.
All right. Oh, dude,
Going
could I
around
get
him.
up top of here?
No.
Oh,
Could you fire 2 shots? I want him to tunnel vision on you. I'm getting around him, but he's going to try to get around you the same way I am.
a little more than 2, but
There's no way to peek him and USEC without pushing him. Which means I need to heal and repack.
I mean, both of them were fucking sitting like rats, so you got plenty of time.
Guy has a vector or something.
Very nice.
Find yourself a place where they can push you. And you'll get ears no matter what direction they come from. They can't get any long peeks on you, because that's what they're going to be working towards.
Oh, he's by me.
Shit. I'm coming.
He's flipping around.
I saw it. Just run if you have to.
He's going around on the other side of this building.
He's going to get peekers on you at bail. I have him. Hold up. He's dead.
Oh, nice.
I'm going back
that
to
was
him.
Yep.
Damn. When did Captain become such a fucking Chad?
He needs me around.
When I stopped having to do quests. I'm gonna real quick peek 13 before we go in.
What's 13?
The extract under the fortress.
Okay. Do you want to do that one instead, if we can take it, or?
Yeah, I just pulled the lever for it.
Alright. Making my way to you.
You can stick there for a sec if you want. I'm just gonna quickly check this.
I don't want to be out in the open, so.
Killed a player.
Oh. Okay.
There's a scav upstairs I'm not too worried about.
Fuck you mean? You just where'd you kill him?
Right here.
Used to blow.
What the hell?
What in the hell?
Coming back down.